The objects I want to talk about today from the Bill Douglas Cinema Museum have been fascinating me for a number of years. They're these rather innocuous little pamphlets, part handwritten, part print, they look rather like scrapbooks, and actually that's exactly what they are. And the reason they fascinate me is because I'm also interested in the late 19th and early 20th century magic lantern show. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that to give you a sense of what these books were all about. What they are is a compilation of different magic lantern scripts. So someone, somewhere, with a rather beautiful red ink and handwriting, has decided that he's very interested in giving a lantern show, but he doesn't want to give necessarily the ones which are available commercially. And there are lots of commercial scripts here at the museum, like these ones, covering a range of different subjects. You can see, for example, that this one deals with a trip through Mexico. So it's a lovely travel lecture, where there'll be a man lecturing at the front. Behind him will be playing a series of images dealing with different parts of Mexico, so that someone who'd never been to Mexico will get the chance to see what Mexico looked like and to hear about the space. But it's not enough for this guy, who is very happy to give a lecture script on his own. In this case, for example, called The All Red Route Round the World. What he's done is that he's actually typed up his own lecture sequence, which isn't dealing with one country, it's dealing with a whole series of them. So each slide deals with a different country, starting at Plymouth, where he sets off, and working his way through the world to different places. And really, you see every single slide is going to a different country, ending up in Sydney, ending up in Australia. Okay, so he's taken a strip right the way around. So what you have to imagine with a show like that, okay, is that this is taking place not just in one venue, it's not just this individual, it's taking place across Britain at the end of the 19th century in every single parish, in all cities, villages and towns, pretty much anywhere where you have enough space to keep a group of 20 to 100 people together. People are opting to put on lantern shows. So it becomes as pervasive as cinema was going to be in the 1920s and 1930s. Really is absolutely everywhere. So it'd be a winter's night, always a winter's night because it has to be dark. You'd walk into a room probably lit by gaslight. You'd sit down, the lights would dim, the slideshow would begin, and immediately you'd get a brilliant image projected at the back of the room, projected probably by oxyhydrogen light. And it would be projected by the magic lantern itself, often a very beautiful device. A projector in essence, but one which was strictly under the control of the lantern operator. And what he would do, he'd move from slide to slide while the lecturer was speaking, so that you've got a visual story at the same time as you're getting the spoken story, those two things combining. And that's what makes the show work. That's what makes it so attractive and entertaining. My very favourite of all of these things is this. And it's another cut and paste lantern script. In this case, it's a Temperance lantern script. That is, it's a script which is attempting to convince the people in a local parish, it's probably led by a particular church, to stop drinking, stop going to the pub, come to the church instead of going to the pub. That's the basic message of this sort of material. This one's called Which Side Wins, and you can see that in this case our lecturer has taken a commercial lantern slide reading, rather like this one, a temperance reading called Grizzy and Jim, and he's cut and pasted bits and pieces of it into his own entertainment. And as he's done that, he's added bits and he's taken bits away. He wants it to express something quite clearly of his own. And the main thing he's added is a series of songs. And if I just read you a verse from the songs, you'll get a sense of the kind of tone of the entertainment. So after 3 slides, the first 3 slides, it says, "Oh, how sorrowful the picture that Intemperance daily shows. See the drunken father reeling as he madned homeward goes." And it kind of progresses in that way. That's part of a song, I just read it out, but it's part of a song which everyone would have engaged in. They got really involved in the emotional side of the service by doing that sort of thing. Now, the museum also has samples of Temperance lantern slides, and they're often very beautiful things. And this is a sequence I wanted to show you. It's called A Little Mistake. It opens with an image of your typical drunk. His hat askance. He's carrying a billiard cue. He's probably in the pub, and he's got a cigar in his mouth. Okay, perfect image of dissolution for you. The second shot comes completely different, but as a lecturer will explain, this is actually where he lives. This is where his family are while he's at the pub, and it's a typical working class sort of tenement dwelling. Many of the audiences who would have been addressed in a temperance show would have been working class audiences, and it was very often the middle class clergy reaching to the working class to stop them drinking, which drove these shows forward. So this is, saying to the working man, this is like your home. Don't follow this man's example. And in the third slide we see the problem, which is to say we see the beer on the table in front of him, which leads quickly, by the fourth slide, we don't see the depraved scenes in between, to his staggering around the streets, presumably coming back home from the pub where he spent most of his evening. Rather beautifully coloured, tinted slide, this one, indicating nighttime and also giving a sense of mood. And the rest of the sequence plays out the melodrama in a really big way. We instantly see the father coming home, drunk, finding the most comfortable place in the house, in this case his baby's cot. He takes the baby, sets the baby on the floor, screaming, and goes to sleep. Later on, this is discovered by his family, who discover the baby's predicament and shame the man into recognising his depravity. In the very last slide, the wages of sin are that he's alone, he's on a dark street, familyless and friendless. And so the moral message is carried with great weight. And that's exactly what this man at the end of the 19th century was also trying to achieve.